My name's Josh, I'm 31, and this happened about 9 months ago, but I still think about it every day like it was yesterday. I had been dating my girlfriend, Mia, for almost 4 years. We lived together for 3 of them, shared a car for a while, even talked about kids once or twice, though I think I was more serious about that part than she was. Things had been rocky for a bit, I won't lie. She started working later hours, got really into her independent time on weekends, and stopped initiating pretty much anything between us. I thought maybe it was just stress or burnout. I even suggested we take a weekend trip somewhere, just the two of us, but she kind of brushed it off like I was trying too hard. The day she asked for a break, I honestly wasn't shocked. She came home one evening, sat on the edge of the bed, and said she needed time to figure herself out. She made it sound like she was protecting both of us from resentment or worse. I asked if there was someone else. She said no, swore up and down it wasn't about that, said she just needed space. I didn't fight her on it. I packed a duffel bag, told her I'd crash at my brother's place for a while, and left that night. The first few days felt weird but manageable. I kept telling myself this kind of thing happens. People go through rough patches. She just needed time, right? My brother was cool about me staying, gave me space, didn't ask too many questions. I still texted Mia here and there, just little check-ins. She'd respond, but always short, always vague. A thumbs up, or thanks for checking in. I figured she was working through something. I tried to respect it. Then, about 10 days in, I went back to the apartment to grab some clothes and my work laptop. I had told her ahead of time, and she said she'd be out, so I let myself in. I wasn't expecting anything weird, but the second I walked in, I noticed the kitchen trash was full of stuff I didn't recognize. A different kind of coffee. Some takeout from a Thai place neither of us ever liked. New toothbrushes still in the packaging on the bathroom counter. That gut feeling hit me instantly. I didn't want to admit it yet, but something felt off. So I went back to my brother's without saying a word. I needed to think. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept going over every little thing she'd said that last week before asking for a break. The way she'd stopped making eye contact when we talked. How her phone was suddenly always face down. How she started locking the bathroom door, which she'd never done before. It was like all those little signs I'd brushed off were suddenly screaming at me. I tried telling myself I was being paranoid. I even went on her Instagram to see if she'd posted anything that might give me a clue, but her account was practically a ghost town. No new posts, no stories. Then I got curious and checked our mutual friend Sam's profile. He was one of my best friends, a guy I'd known since middle school. We were tight. Or at least I thought we were. That's when it hit me. In one of the photos he posted of his apartment, just a dumb picture of his cat sleeping on the couch, I saw a pair of sneakers in the corner. Not just any sneakers. Mia's sneakers. Bright yellow, kind of ugly, but unmistakably hers. She used to joke they made her look like a crossing guard. I knew for a fact she didn't take them with her when I left, because they were still by the front door that day. I even remember stepping over them when I grabbed my bag. So either she went back for them quietly, or she never left at all. I stared at that photo for a long time, zoomed in like a psycho, trying to convince myself I was wrong. But I wasn't. I knew those shoes. I even remembered buying them with her on a random Saturday when she said she wanted to try something different. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to call her and sound like I'd been spying, but I couldn't just sit there with that pit in my stomach. So I called Sam. I played it cool at first, just asked how things were going, made small talk. He sounded normal, maybe a little rushed. I asked if he was seeing anyone. He laughed and said, "Nothing serious." My heart dropped. That phrase, "nothing serious," sounded exactly like something Mia would say when she didn't want to be pinned down. I didn't bring up the shoes. I just hung up and sat there on my brother's couch in the dark, phone still in my hand, trying to keep my breathing steady. It felt like my brain was trying to put 1,000 pieces together all at once, but none of them made a full picture. And honestly, I think a part of me didn't want the picture to be complete. Because once it was, I knew I wouldn't be able to unsee it. And that scared the hell out of me. The next day, I went back to the apartment without warning. I told myself I needed to grab more stuff. But really, I just wanted to see if I'd find more proof. Something undeniable. When I got there, I stood outside the door for a while, just listening. I didn't hear anything at first, but then I caught this low voice inside. A man's voice. I couldn't make out what he was saying, but it was enough. I knocked. No one answered. I waited a minute, knocked again, louder. Still nothing. I finally used my key and walked in. The living room was empty, but there was a mug on the coffee table and 2 plates in the sink. The TV remote was sitting on the arm of the couch, and the blanket she usually kept in her room was there too. Like someone had been lounging around minutes before I got there. I called out her name, nothing. Then, from the hallway, I heard the sound of the bedroom door clicking shut. Not slamming, clicking, like someone trying to be quiet. There was also a faint smell in the air. His cologne, something musky that I recognized from the times Sam used to crash on our couch. That's when everything in me just snapped. I felt cold, like my body was moving but I wasn't in it. And I remember thinking, if I open that door and it's him, this changes everything. I walked straight to the bedroom. I didn't even hesitate. I opened the door and she was standing there, halfway dressed, looking like a deer in headlights. No words, no expression, just pure, frozen shock. Behind her, I saw Sam, shirtless, holding his phone. I didn't say anything for a second. I just looked at both of them. My brain didn't even know which emotion to grab first. Anger? Hurt? Disgust? All I could do was laugh. Not a real laugh. More like one of those what the hell is happening reactions that your body does when you can't process something fast enough. Mia finally muttered something like, "It's not what it looks like," which honestly made it worse. Sam didn't say a word, not even an apology. He just stood there, awkward and silent, like if he stayed quiet long enough it would all go away. I turned around and walked out. I didn't even close the door. As I walked past the kitchen, I saw his backpack sitting by the counter. It was half unzipped, and one of his shirts was hanging out. He hadn't just come over. He was staying there, living there. The same place we built together. The same place I helped paint with her. That's when it hit me. I didn't just lose her. I had been replaced. I sat in my car for at least 30 minutes before even turning the engine on. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I just sat there with this pressure in my chest that made it hard to breathe. The betrayal hit in waves. First Mia, the person I trusted the most, who told me she needed space to figure things out. Then Sam, someone I'd known since I was 12, who came to every birthday, every cookout, even helped me move into that apartment. I felt stupid, not just heartbroken, but actually humiliated. All the signs had been there. The weird phone behavior, the distant attitude, the way she suddenly seemed emotionally detached. I thought we were just going through a rough patch. Turns out she was just transitioning into a new relationship, right under my nose, with someone I considered family. That part stung the most. The fact that I hadn't just lost a girlfriend, I'd lost one of the only people I still called a friend. And I kept thinking about every time the 3 of us hung out, laughing like nothing was wrong. How many of those moments were fake? How many times had I been the punchline to a joke I didn't know I was in? That feeling messed with my head in ways I wasn't prepared for. It made me feel disposable, like I had been conveniently erased from my own life. That night, I packed the rest of my things while she wasn't home. I didn't leave a note. I didn't text her. I blocked both of them. My brother helped me move my stuff into a short-term rental I found online. It was small but clean. I didn't take much. Mostly clothes, my laptop, some books. I didn't want anything that reminded me of her. The weird thing is, they didn't even try to reach out. Not even once. No apology. No explanation. It's like they just moved on, like I was a temporary inconvenience they had to wait out. I kept expecting some kind of closure, like maybe she'd send a message weeks later trying to justify it, or he'd call and try to explain. But nothing came. Just silence. That made it feel even more real. That this wasn't some mistake or moment of weakness. They planned this. Chose it. And they were fine with throwing me away in the process. I checked my phone constantly at first, waiting for something, an email, a DM, even a block number call. Anything. But there was never anything. The more I waited, the more it sank in that they didn't feel guilty. And honestly, that's what hurt the most. Not what they did, but how easy it was for them to pretend I never existed. About a month later, I ran into Sam at the grocery store. It was completely random. I was grabbing some stuff after work and turned the corner by the frozen section, and there he was, holding a bag of pizza rolls like nothing had happened. Our eyes met, and he immediately looked down like he'd seen a cop. I stood there, waiting for him to say something, anything. He gave me this little nod, like a casual hey, and tried to keep walking. That's when I lost it. I stepped in front of him and asked, straight up, how long was it going on? He looked around like he was embarrassed someone might hear. Then he said, it just happened, man. We didn't plan it. That made me even angrier. The way he downplayed it, like their months of sneaking around behind my back was some spontaneous accident. I told him to never speak to me again and walked out. Left my cart there and everything. I didn't even make it back to the car before I started shaking. That encounter set me back emotionally for a few weeks. I thought I was doing okay up to that point, sleeping a little better, eating again, slowly finding a rhythm in my new place. But seeing him in person knocked the air out of me. It made everything feel fresh again. The worst part was how calm he looked. Like what they did was just some bump in the road, something he could move past. I kept thinking about all the times I defended him, all the secrets we shared, how I used to say he was like a brother. And he just tossed that away like it meant nothing. That realization hurt more than the breakup. Romantic relationships end, sure, but when someone you've known for most of your life betrays you like that, it cuts deeper. It made me start questioning all my friendships, all my memories. Like, how many other moments were fake? How much of my life had I built around people who didn't actually give a damn about me? After that, I stopped trusting people for a while. I didn't mean to become bitter or closed off, but it just kind of happened. I'd get invited to things, birthdays, hangouts, even a friend's engagement party, and I'd either cancel last minute or just not reply. I didn't want to explain myself. I didn't want the sorry man faces. I wanted to be alone. I threw myself into work, started staying later just to avoid going home to silence. My phone barely buzzed anymore, and honestly, that felt safer. The idea of someone else getting close enough to screw me over again made me feel sick. It wasn't just about Mia or Sam anymore. It was like my brain had rewired itself to expect betrayal. Anytime someone was being nice, I caught myself thinking, what do they want? Or what are they hiding? It was exhausting, but I didn't know how to turn it off. Then something strange happened. Around the 4th month after everything went down, I got a letter in the mail. No name on the return address, just mine handwritten on the front. Inside was a single sheet of paper. No envelope branding, no typed out message, just a few sentences written in all caps with a thick black pen. You don't know half of it. Ask her why she really left. That was it. No signature. No explanation. I sat there on my couch, holding it, heart racing. I thought maybe it was a joke or someone messing with me, but the handwriting didn't look familiar. I showed it to my brother, and he thought maybe it was from Mia, trying to stir up drama, but it didn't feel like her. The tone was weird, not apologetic, more like a warning. That letter sat on my coffee table for days. I kept staring at it, wondering if I should actually do something about it. Eventually, curiosity got the better of me. I didn't want to call Mia, so I just texted her. Got a weird letter. Someone said I don't know the full story. What does that mean? She didn't reply that day. Or the next. I figured she'd ignore it, pretend it was nothing. But 3 days later, she sent me a long paragraph. The kind of message you have to scroll to finish reading. She said she wasn't proud of how things ended, but that there were things she never told me because she didn't think I could handle them at the time. She said the relationship had been falling apart for a while and that I wasn't present emotionally. Which, sure, maybe I missed some things, but cheating with my best friend, that's not about emotional distance. Then she wrote, Sam wasn't the only one. I just thought you should know. That line hit me like a train. I didn't even know what to respond. I just stared at my phone for like 15 minutes trying to understand what the hell that meant. I texted back asking her to explain, but she never did. She left it there, like a grenade with the pin half pulled. I didn't know if she was trying to make me feel worse or if she actually thought she was doing me a favor. Either way, it messed with my head. I started replaying our whole relationship in my mind, wondering how many times I missed something obvious. Every trip she took alone, every late night at work, every time she pushed me away emotionally. Was that all cover for something else? I started obsessing over old texts, old photos, even stupid receipts I had lying around. I don't know what I was hoping to find. Maybe some kind of answer that made everything make sense. But nothing ever did. The deeper I dug, the less clear everything got. And eventually, I hit this wall. Like even if I uncovered the whole truth, it wouldn't change anything. I was still the guy who got blindsided, left behind, and ghosted by the people I trusted most. After that last message from her, I deleted the thread. I didn't want it sitting there in my phone like a scar I could keep reopening. I didn't respond again. What was the point? She said what she wanted to say, dropped that bomb, and disappeared. I never heard from her again. No follow-up, no explanation, not even a fake apology. It was like she'd already made peace with what she did and moved on without ever looking back. I tried to do the same. I focused on therapy, started running in the mornings just to get my head straight, tried to build a routine that didn't involve either of them. The hardest part wasn't letting go of her. It was accepting that people you think know you, love you, have your back, can turn out to be strangers. That kind of betrayal makes you question everything, even your own judgment. Then one night, out of nowhere, I got another letter. Same style. No name, no return address. This one was even shorter. It just said, "Ask your brother what he saw." That shook me in a completely different way. My brother had been my one solid thing through all of this. He let me crash at his place, listened to me rant, helped me move. I couldn't imagine he'd be involved in anything shady. But the moment I read that note, I realized something. When I first moved in with him, he already seemed weirdly prepared. Like he had cleared out his guest room the day before I even asked. I figured he was just being helpful. But now I wasn't so sure. I started thinking about how quiet he was every time I vented about Mia and Sam. Like maybe he knew more than he ever let on. The next morning I brought it up. I didn't show him the note right away. I just asked, "Did you know anything about Mia and Sam before I found out?" He paused for a second too long before saying no. It wasn't even the answer that bothered me. It was how rehearsed it sounded. Like he'd been preparing for that question. I pressed him, asked if he ever noticed anything weird, anything off between them. He said, "I mean, maybe once or twice, but I didn't want to stir the pot." That pissed me off. I asked him what he meant, and he finally admitted he saw Mia getting out of Sam's car once at night, months before the breakup. He said he thought it was weird, but didn't want to jump to conclusions. Said he didn't want to create drama if there was nothing going on. I couldn't believe it. I was crashing on his couch, venting to him, completely blindsided, and he sat there holding that information the whole time. That changed the way I looked at everything. The whole timeline, every interaction, every "I'm sorry" man suddenly felt fake. I walked out of his place without saying anything else. Drove straight home. I didn't yell, didn't text him later, didn't ask for more details. I didn't need them. The damage was done. It wasn't just Mia and Sam anymore. It was everyone. I felt like I'd been the last one to know something that everyone else had already decided to keep quiet about. Like I was the only idiot in the room thinking my life was solid while everyone else was walking on eggshells around a truth they already knew. That night, I sat in my apartment with both letters in front of me. No return address. No handwriting matched to anyone I knew. I still don't know who sent them or why. But after that second one, they stopped. Completely. No more notes. No more texts from Mia. No more run-ins. Just silence. For a while, I thought maybe I was being messed with. That someone was trying to keep the wound open, maybe even someone close to them. But after that second letter, nothing else came. No more cryptic messages. No more unexpected grocery store encounters. It was like whatever needed to be said had been said. And the weirdest part? Everything calmed down. Like some tension had been cut loose. I started sleeping better. I stopped checking over my shoulder in public or scanning social media for any trace of either of them. They both disappeared from my life so completely, it felt like they'd never existed. And yet, all the damage they left behind was still there, just quieter now. I kept wondering if the person who sent the letters knew them or knew me. Maybe someone who saw more than they were supposed to. But I never found out. I even checked my building's security cams and mail logs. Nothing. Sometimes I'll get a random flash of that day, walking into my own bedroom, and seeing them standing there like I was the one intruding. Or the sound of Sam's voice trying to sound casual when he said it just happened. But it doesn't hurt like it used to. Now it just feels like a closed chapter that never really had an ending. Just a stop. Like something that was in motion and then suddenly wasn't. The worst part is, I never really got answers. Just fragments. I don't know when it started. I don't know how many people knew. I don't know what was real in that whole relationship. I probably never will. But that's the thing, I stopped needing the answers. At some point, I just accepted that they weren't coming. That the people I thought I knew had their own version of the story, and I'd never be allowed to hear it. So I just kept living. And weirdly enough, once I stopped asking questions, that's when everything finally went quiet.